Hey, what's up, guys? This is Kevin Robert. I just wanted to make a quick video going over how to give a today only price the correct way. I know a lot of people hate this. A lot of people think it's a scummy or scammy way to do business, but it's because they're just not doing it properly. There's a way to do it where you don't come off like that and people don't get mad at you, and it's actually a highly effective tactic to help in the closing process, again, if you do it correctly, right? So the main thing is when you give a today only price, they have to actually believe it. If you just give your presentation and then give them the price and just say, by the way, this price is only good for today, so you have to make a decision right now, then yeah, that's terrible, right? And they're going to know you're full of shit and it's just a sales tactic and they're going to get mad at you and it's not going to work. So you have to be able to slide past their bullshit detector. And the best way to do that is to have it not actually be bullshit. You have to have a reason behind the today price and then actually stick to that. The part that people miss when they're trying to do this is the story behind it. You have to have a good story behind why the price is only good for today. And that story has to be believable, obviously. So, in order for your today price story to pass their bullshit detector test, it has to have these four things. Okay. So, first, you have to have done the presentation correctly up until this point, be in a great rapport with the homeowner, and they already believe everything you're saying. Remember that today price comes at the very end of your presentation. So, you've already done a lot of work to build their trust before hitting them with this, right? And so if everything you've said up until this point is truthful, then they're going to believe your today price story as well. So that's number one. Number two, the story has to make logical sense. Number three, the story is congruent with everything you've said up until this point. So make sure you're not like contradicting yourself, right? If you said something during the presentation or earlier that is, you guys do business one way, and then all of a sudden you're in your today only price story, you say something different as the reasoning behind why the price is only good for today, then they're going to pick up on that, right? And number four, it can't match a pattern of what sleazy salesmen have done to them in the past. So the human brain is like a pattern recognition machine, right? So if these people went and bought a car at a used car lot before, and the car salesman is doing like sales tactics with them and giving them a today only price and a certain way, and if you kind of match that same pattern, what they've seen before, then they're going to put you in that category as the used car guy and that you're trying to rip them off, and then it's all bullshit. People can spot fake urgency a mile away. And one thing I want to stress is you shouldn't be trying to make a fake story sound true. What you should be doing is have a real story and structure your company around that story to make it actually true. Have a good story and then move the things around in your company so it's actually true. Don't lie to people. And I know that's kind of vague. If you guys need help with that, just reach out to me and I'll show you how to do that. But you'll get a clearer picture of that when I tell you the story that we say to homeowners here in a second. So in my sales presentation, there's a part in the very beginning in the company story where I talk about how we don't sub the work out. We use the same guys every single time. We're not just hiring like random contractors off Craigslist and things like that. And I talk about how my crews only work for me. And so this all plays into my today price story that I give at the end of the presentation when I'm passing price, which again, right, congruency, right? It's congruent with what I told them at the beginning of the presentation. And so basically what we say is this. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, so I'm here to give you an estimate that's good for a full year. Doesn't matter if you call me a week from now or up to a year from now. I'm going to take this estimate and lock it in my computer before I leave here today. Now, like I told you also, my guys work exclusively for me. The reason they work for me is because I keep them busy every single day. If I didn't keep them busy, obviously they'd have to go find work somewhere else, right? So the way I manage to keep them busy every day is for people like you who trust me, trust the company, like the product, and for whom it makes sense financially, we offer you an additional savings for booking the next available crew while I'm out here today. Does that make sense? And that's it. That is a real and truthful story behind why we're giving them an incentive or a today only price. So that's what all my guys say in house. And homeowners know that's true, right? It's a worker's market right now. Work is abundant. There's big labor shortage, right? So if there's any gap at all in my crew's schedule, they're going to instantly go and just be able to take a side job somewhere because there's so much work out there. And if they do that, they might get tied up on that job longer than they thought. And then, anything can happen, right? Suddenly I'm short staffed and it's causing issues in my business. So the story I'm telling them is true. And homeowners are smart. They know it's true, right? They know there's a bunch of work out there, that there's a labor shortage, and that I got to keep my guys busy. So it makes total sense why I would be giving them an incentive to go ahead and move forward with me today if they like everything we've covered so far. And so the main thing is you have to stick with that, right? If you're going to give them a today only price, you got to be able to stick with that. Obviously, even with the good story, I've had homeowners that kind of like chuckle at it and think it's bullshit, right? That like rarely happens. I actually can't remember the last time that's happened, but you know, there have been instances of that in the past. And so, they think it's BS, and then I leave the house, and then, 2 days later they call us and they want to get that same today only price, and I have to deny them that. And, it's made some people mad, right? But here's the thing, if I give it to them anyways just to close the deal, then I'm a liar, right? Then it wasn't true. So you have to be able to stick to your guns on it. And if a situation like that ever does come up, you have to be able to tell the homeowner, look, Mr. Smith, when I was out at your house 2 days ago, I was truthful with you throughout our entire interaction together. And I was also being truthful with this today only price. So that was a price that was only good for that day. Unfortunately, I cannot give it to you now that you're calling me 2 days later. And to be honest with you, you wouldn't want me to give you that price, because if I gave you that price, now you're dealing with a company that's lying to you on your very first interaction with that company. The fact that I'm being truthful with you right now means you could trust us to be truthful with you throughout this project and get the work done right. Now, just because that discounted price that I gave you 2 days ago isn't valid, it doesn't mean we can't work something out to fit into your budget or try to come up with a plan that works for you guys. I'm actually going to be out by your house sometime tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is swing by, and then we'll meet for 15, 20 minutes and we'll figure something out. Does that sound good? Awesome. See you then. Boom. Rehash the appointment. Right. So that's it. Hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions about this, just let me know. And thanks for listening.